Hi, today I'm going to present about some methods and procedure for granting credit for out-of-school learning experience. Out-of-school learning experience means that students take out-of-school class such as a community learning center, university, youth organization, or institution, and that suit their attitudes and career path. In particular, due to the high school credit system, the possibility of completing various subjects outside of school is higher than before. Various of discussion are needed, so whether this experience can be recognized as a high school credit or not. Several policy studies and academic studies have been conducted, but not all of them focus on out-of-school experience. When we explore a new topic, it might be effective ways to organize existing studies in meta. So this study and conduct a meta-analysis of the existing studies, but more focuses on out-of-school experience. Through this, research on out-of-school learning experience related to the high school credit system was reviewed, and problems and solutions related to the out-of-school learning experience are reviewed. The credit system are currently recognized as one of the most important educational policies in Korea in high school field. The high school credit system is a curricular system in which students select and complete various of subjects according to their career path, and when they accumulate credit when they reach the credit standards, they are allowed to graduate. So the high school credit system in Korea was not introduced to broaden students' choice, and therefore the key to high school credit system is how to create an environment where students can choose the subject they want. In order to diversify student subject choice, it would be the best way to open many subjects, of course. However, in reality, schools often do not have the conditions to open all subjects. This needs a wide range of changes to education infrastructure and entire teaching, training, selection, and management system. As an alternative to this problem, it is necessary to prepare a way to use resources and environment outside of school for education in cooperation with the local community. Therefore, it is necessary to discuss how credit will be awarded if the program is completed outside of a school. This institutional accreditation is referred to as the out-of-school learning experience system. So out-of-school learning experience credit might be awarded to students who have received instructions in community learning centers, university, youth organizations, arts and sports organization, and vocational institution of local community. However, not all of the out-of-school experience are eligible for credit. There might be various arguments regarding subject, time, method, and content, and so on. The previous study related to the credit system have been seeking various ways by addressing the issues raised assuming the introduction of the credit system. So this study was intended to establish guidelines for issues related to out-of-school learning experience. To this end, a lot of studies on the learning experience related to the high school credit system were meta-reviewed, and guidelines for each issue were presented as a result. The high school credit system aims to expand subject selection suitable for attitude, competence-oriented education, and self-directed learning. In fact, however, the Korean high school curriculum is making efforts to expand elective subjects from the 7 curriculums. Even under the current system, not in the future, students can earn credits for completing courses in learning experience at community learning centers. Nevertheless, it is not easy for a student to choose subject. The reason has little to do with the number of required subjects in the curriculum documents. An important key was whether the school had an environment in which to open a variety of subjects. On the other hand, the high school credit system is a system that allows students to select and complete various subjects according to their career path and graduate when they accumulate credits, reach the standards. However, there are many aspects that are difficult in reality to open a variety of subjects in schools. In fact, according to existing studies, teachers cited the lack of classroom space as the most important problems to be solved in high school. Here is a previous study that what was the problem of broadening students' choose, and teacher answered that, as I mentioned before, environment for selecting course was the most problem. In addition, opening a variety of subjects entails problems such as changing the teacher selection system. It is so not easy for teachers to teach various subjects other than their major. Considering all these points, cooperation between schools and the local community will be better alternative. The community has a variety of resources and will not be afraid to work with the schools. There are also prior studies that try to implement the school curriculum in connection with the local community. So in this study conducted in a short period of time. This study analyzed the data because a lot of data was conducted in a short period and more focused on national issues. There are a few opportunities for meta review and discussion between the research contents. So this study comprehensively tried to analyze the existing studies, focus on the procedures, methods, and tasks to be solved in expanding the learning experience outside of school. Even though I searched a lot of research data, there were a lot of duplicated contents, and I selected for my research purpose. These 5 research was I selected these 5 research as my research data because it has a lot of issues and was conducted usually by organization. I thought this might be better option than other research because it is what more like have more, or it deals a lot than others, so I chose it. So I want to briefly review a very short review about research data. First one, study extensively dealt with class hours, out of school learning experience, early graduation, and retaking classes as discussion topic for implementing the high school credit system. Among them, out of school experience were investigated through guidelines for completing something systems and cases related to the out of school experience, the massing and forwarding case study, public opinion polls, and large scale surveys. So that's the reason why I select this. And data 2, analyze the actual situation in the stage of preparing the foundation for introduction of a high school credit system, and it also sought attempt to seek way to optimize the amount of learning required during the partial introduction period and raise awareness about learning outside of school, in particularly in relation to the recognition of out-of-school learning experience, the nature of courses completed, and the number of credits completed, and qualification of teachers were discussed here. There are three in the study: problems and solution for credit recognition for learning experience out of school was widely discussed after the introduction of a high school credit system. And to this end, problems were classified through the guideline of metropolitan specification and civil system. And then, okay, let's skip it. Okay, let's go move to the result here. Among lots of features of out of school experience, I thought this is the most important. How we can make the concept of out of school learning experience, because it differs how we can define it. So this study investigated how to conceptualize the scopes of out of school learning experience. As people think that out of school learning experience was not used in current curriculum documents, but indirectly the meaning we know is could be inferred through the data. Data one examined the out of school learning experience by dividing into spiritual and content aspect. In spiritual terms, the out of school learning experience means that physically outside of school buildings. However, when the concept of out of school is physically defined, the joint curriculum operated with the other schools so becomes out of school learning. The joint curriculum is not an out of school education. In other words, defining out of school as physical space should not be interpreted differently. In this regard, data 2 argued that it is inappropriate to view a curriculum with other schools as an out of school curriculum, even if learning outside of physical space. In addition, there is a curriculum document containing contents the student can study at a community learning center according to standards set by metropolitan officers of education. This mainly includes public education institutes such as university, vocational training center, and industrial academics corporation. And for summarizing all this data three of this discussion to define out of school as a public learning space that contributes to the education achievement of a high school education goal and fulfills educational function beyond the physical space of the school. Yeah, I like this. And I just second. This study contents that should be recognized as a credit for our school learning experience was discussed. Also, data 3 shows that generally accepted learning experience are associated with the liberal arts and vocational subject not offered by schools. On the other hand, data 1 argued that subject that are difficult to handle at school needs to be reorganized as credits, even if they are taken outside of school. These subjects are related to, of course, liberal arts and sports, and physical education and careers. It is realistic difficult to offer many subjects in school as it depends on the availability of teachers and the choice of students. To ensure student choice, out-of-school experience needs to be credited. However, if the case is excessively expanded, there might be operational difficulties, so there's some restriction are necessary. Third, credit setting method and scope. How about that? Data 1 suggested following regarding the method and scope of curriculum opening was argued that out of school learning experience should be recognized for subject approved by superintended institution that opened the subject, and pre-approval is also required. like in United States and Canada, it judges the prior approvers in advantages in terms of minimum quality control. Therefore, it was argued that 3 credits per semester, including all joint curriculum, and a total 10 credits for 3 years should be recognized. In addition, it was suggested that it will be recognized within 10 or 15% of elective subject units. And about when to open out-of-school learning experience courses. The other one is that opening period of extracurriculum from first semester or second year to first semester until first semester of third year. This is because it is difficult because first year students actually complete common subject. They need to complete common subject, and at the final stages, if they do not complete all subject in the second semester of 30 years, their graduation might be difficult. So we need to consider it in reality. So courses can be open during various times, such as during day, after schools, and weekends, and vacation, and seasonal semester. Data 3 suggests that out-of-class tutoring experience would be also appropriate. Various courses can be open after school, on weekends, vacation season. However, the difficulties of teachers must be taken into account. In addition, administrative support should be provided as much as possible in consideration with the organic connection between regular courses and out-of-school experience. The early age, it does suggest that non-working hours such as after school, weekends, and vacational semester be used, but in the long term, it would be desirable to use school times. In most cases, joint education courses with metropolitan offices of education are conducted in addition to the regular courses. Okay. In the paper, there is more research of analysis. Let's skip to conclusion. Until now, we are trying to know about issues related to the out-of-school learning experience. Korean high school are making a lot of preparation to introduce high school credit system, and it is not, and there was no previous learning, but it is expected to what is scope and frequency will expand the introduction of a high school credit system. Time has come for great guidelines on the concept of learning experience outside of school, an operation method, and scope of accreditation and evaluation method. So this study meta-analyzed previous studies related to the out-of-school learning experience. Existing studies have been extensively conducted, but in order to solve practical problem of out-of-school learning experience, it is essential to reorganize the existing massive data. So this study made the following suggestions. First, credit reorganization course must be related to the student's aptitude and career path during out-of-school learning experience and must be meet certain requirements. Second, this study comprehensively suggests that range of credit recognition as a result of reviewing various material should be within the total 10 credits for 3 years of high schools. All this time, the number of credits per subject can be adjusted from 2 to 4 credits, and the opening period is from first semester of second year and to first semester of third years. For the certification procedure, it is appropriate to follow the joint curriculum of the Metropolitan Office of Education, and in short term, it might be better to apply the regulation of joint curriculums. But in long term, it is necessary to additionally apply certain complete standards. Until I try to figure out what issues and what need to investigate and relate to out of school learning service. As I mentioned before, in Korea, credit system would be introduced and will be implemented in a soon. And it is the most important issues and hot issues in Korea education system. A lot of issues were near there, but I think local community and school needs to cooperate to make some synergy effects. But there's always constant process. We need to know what is the restriction or process of the using local communities. So before improving that system, we are supposed to know what will be problems and what will be good if we make some regulation or some system before implementing the and make use of the other materials. So this study hopefully to be used for who want to implement or who want to operate out of school service, out of school learning service like that. So have more want to give more explanation to topics like this. Okay. I hopefully rate these issues. Please make publication, and you might be read more details about these issues. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.